Bien, en este momento también, bueno, vamos a tener una escuela de educación superior en Irlanda. Bien, Irlanda es un hermoso país y se los digo por experiencia, por ahí tuve la oportunidad de tener una experiencia como estudiante cerca de un año. Entonces, y bueno, la verdad es que yo podría hablarles horas y horas al respecto, pero para esto le doy la bienvenida a Nia, que nos acompaña de la Universidad de Limerick. Hello there.
Hello. Hi, how are you all today?
We are doing fine. How about you?
All good, all good. Just back getting back out of lockdown here in Ireland, so we're excited about that. And very delighted to be here today to chat to you all.
All right, excellent, Niam. I'm sorry. How do I pronounce your name correctly? It's just Niam. Is that
Neve.
okay? Neve.
Neve. It's a real Irish name, so don't worry about it. Everyone calls it Naim or Neem. You will not hear it anywhere outside of Ireland, so don't panic.
Yeah, I need to ask because I wasn't sure. All
Yeah.
right, Neve. All right, perfect. Well, let me just talk about a little bit about in Spanish about what we're gonna do right now. I believe you have a presentation for us. Is that
I
correct?
do. Yes, I do indeed. I have a presentation for everybody, and hopefully I'll fly through it very quickly, and we'll be able to do some questions if there is any from yourself, Emmanuel.
Okay, well, yeah. Thank you so much for that. Now, let me explain a little bit about how this is going to work to the people that is watching us. Muy bien, en este momento nos acompaña Nif de la Universidad de Limerick. Es una de las universidades, pues, de las más grandes con las que cuenta Irlanda. Bien, y nos va a hablar un poquito de sus programas. En este momento yo me voy a dirigir con ella en inglés. Una disculpa por adelantado porque la verdad mi inglés está un poco oxidado. No hemos tenido oportunidad de viajar ni nada. Entonces, pero voy a tratar de traducir al menos los puntos más importantes. Recuerden que educación superior, en este caso, en Irlanda, se requiere un nivel de inglés intermedio avanzado. Les voy a dar unos detalles un poco más adelante, pero en este momento voy a regresar con Im y bueno, ella nos va a platicar un poquito más acerca de la Universidad de Limerick. Okay? Well, thanks so much for your time once again. Let me thank you once again for being with us. Now, pretty much what we can do right now, I'm gonna let you do your presentation. Now, every once in a while, when we have a little bit important information, I will try to translate a little bit in Spanish for all the people that is not catching everything on the fly. You know?
That sounds perfect. And apologies if I talk a little bit too fast. Irish people are known for talking really fast, so at any stage, just tell me to slow down.
All right. Okay. Yeah. Don't worry. Let's hope it works perfectly. Okay. Now, please, Nim, can you tell us a little bit about University of Limerick, please?
Perfect. Well, I'm just going to double check. Can you all see my screen?
Yes, we do. Yeah.
Perfect. That's coming up. I just wanted to make sure the presentation was showing. That's fabulous. So
Perfect.
I'm going to go through in the presentation a little bit about coming to Ireland, and then we're going to talk a little bit about Limerick City, and then I'll talk more about the University of Limerick and what we all have to offer here at UL. I'm really excited to be able to chat a little bit more because this is one of my favorite things to do is talk with students about the opportunities that they have to study abroad, and Enjoy Languages is a fantastic platform for me to be able to connect with you all on, and they're a wonderful organization to work with. So I'd highly recommend if you are thinking about coming to the University of Limerick at the end of this presentation, please make sure to reach out to the team there and we'll get conversations started. So just to kind of give you a little bit of background about myself, I'm originally from the middle of Ireland and I moved to Limerick about 13 years ago. And I've been working with the university as a support officer to help students from North and South America to come to study at UL. I've been in this role for almost 5 years now, and I'm really, really glad that we've been able to help a number of Mexican students to come to UL and to study. So just to look at Limerick and Ireland at a glance and where we're located, because that's always a big question for a lot of students. So Limerick is on the west coast of Ireland. We are the third largest city in Ireland. And we're about 30 minutes from Shannon International Airport. Now, the best thing about it is that the population in Limerick is actually really young. 50% is under the age of 35, and there's about 25,000 students. So it's a really young, vibrant city, which is one of the reasons why I love living here. It's also super safe, super easy to get around. Like I go walking at nighttime. I have a couple of late night calls tonight, so I probably won't get out for some proper fresh air until about maybe 11 o'clock, and I'll go for a nice stroll and then come back and relax. So super cool city like that. Just if you're looking to get around Ireland and explore, and just to kind of give you an idea of where we're located compared to Dublin. So we're about 2 hours from Dublin. You can get a bus directly from Dublin to the university, where the campus is. The campus itself is based about 5 miles, 3 miles, 5 kilometers outside of Limerick city centre itself. And as you can see, we're on that wonderful west coast, which has got the wonderful wild Atlantic Way, which is one of the most magnificent things you can go and see in Ireland, the whole coastline. No matter what location you go to, it's just wonderful. So then, just to kind of give you an idea compared to the rest of the world where we're located, and I have asked them to include Mexico City on this for the presentations. It's a generic slide that they use throughout the university, so I have asked for them to include it. But we are roughly about 12 hours, 13 hours from Mexico City, depending on what type of a flight you get. Normally for me, I'll fly from Mexico City into either Madrid, Paris, or Amsterdam, and then I get a connecting flight to Shannon International Airport, which is always great. And I've been over that side of the world 4 times now, and I wish we didn't have COVID, because that would have I would have enjoyed 2 or 3 more trips over to Mexico this year. I would have loved it. I was only talking to a colleague today how I'd love to go over just for the sunshine and the food. I'm a big foodie, so I do love the food in Mexico, and you can get some amazing Mexican food here in Ireland as well. So just to give you a reason why students choose Ireland, one is very much around the affordability and the safety of it. We also have a 2-year stay back visa. So after you complete a master's with us at the university, you get a 2-year stay back visa. For anybody that completes a bachelor's degree, you get a 1-year stay back visa. We've over 1,500 multinational companies with their European headquarters based here in Ireland. And I'll talk a little bit more about that later on in the presentation. We're English speaking, and we are actually now the only English speaking country in the EU since Brexit. And we're multicultural and family orientated. And once again, I really can't stress that friendly, safe environment. And like Mexican culture and Irish culture remind me, they're very similar. Very similar family values and family orientated, which I think is really important for any undergraduate or master students on the call to know that. And like I have to admit, like Limerick itself is a super friendly city. Like one of the American students that we have described it as a city that has everything that needs to be offered, but also with the true, friendly, authentic Irish feel to it, which is really nice to hear. And that's just a picture of the city in the background. So the city was originally medieval, and there's a castle in the middle of the city centre. You can't see it on this, but it's King's John Castle. And it was built in the 11th century. So it's a very old ancestral history. Now, nothing compared to Mexico City in terms of age, but it is a magnificent city to be in. Very affordable and low cost living. We are the most affordable place city-wise in Ireland to live in. We're 50% more affordable than Dublin, 25% more affordable than Cork, and 23% more affordable than Galway to live in. And there's just a really cool quote from one of our study abroad students that came from Germany. So this then is the university at a quick glance. So we have 8 student villages. So what those are is private student accommodation with over 3,000 bedrooms on campus for students to be able to live on. And you'll see up in the top, what is my right-hand corner over here, one of the student villages, which is really, really cool for students. You get your own private bedroom. Everything's included. Along with, and you've got living space, you get a kitchen and a TV area as well to share with your housemates. I'm going to keep going. So we've just under 17,000 registered students at the University of Limerick, ranging from PhD right down to undergrad. We have a magnificent library called the Glucksman Library. And what we've done is that we have a huge library base in terms of digital and print books available. And we've students from over 100 different countries represented on campus. These are just some of our wonderful rankings. So as you can see there, one of the most important ones that I always want to highlight to students is our graduate employability rate. So we're 97% we have a 97% graduate employability rate, which means that 97% of our graduates either go on to employment or else they go on to do a PhD with us. And one of the newest ones that we have as well is that we've just received the QS 5-star ranking, and we are the only university in Ireland to receive that quality 5-star award, which is magnificent. It was just announced last week. So we are ranked between 101 to 200 globally. We've got the 5-star ranking, as I mentioned already. We are, within the top 80 of top 50 universities under the age of 50. So we're just under 50 years old. We're a very new developing university, and as you can see by the campus itself, how much it has grown in less than 50 years and how many students we have as well. And because of that, it has allowed us to build really strong industrial links. And those industrial links are also represented by the Good University Award around our graduate employability rate. We want to make sure that we have our students job ready and that they're ready to go into the workforce. So just to give you an idea of then what we offer at the University of Limerick. So we have 4 different faculties at UL. So we range from science and engineering to education and health sciences, law, arts, social sciences. Oh, and apologies, there's a small typo in the presentation. I must apologize. Also our 𝘘H𝗷𝗺𝗃 Business School instead of arts, law, and social sciences again. But our 𝘘H𝗷𝗃 Business School, which is also double accredited, and we're going for the triple accreditation, which means that it's almost the same level as some of the Ivy League schools, and it is pretty much there. We're just waiting on the final documentations for the triple accreditation for a business school, which is the highest any business school in the world can achieve. And just so that you know, all of our degrees are internationally recognized, and you can travel anywhere in the world with them. And yeah, which is wonderful to hear. In some small cases, there may be extra add-ons that you have to do when you get back home, but we always advise the students on what that is and where they have to go to do it, specifically around medicine and some of the health science programs. But other than that, then everything else is very easily transferable back to their home countries, and especially back to Mexico. So you can see they're ranging from loads of different areas, from engineering to design to computer software. We've got business analytics, artificial intelligence, for example, has programs. There's so many options. If I was to list out all the programs, we'd be here all day just looking at names of programs. So I'd recommend going onto our website and checking out the individual programs in all of these subject areas.
Okay. Okay. Well, thank you so much for that information. I'm gonna stop you just one moment so I can explain a little bit in Spanish of what you are mentioning right now. All right.
Perfect.
I will try to make a quick recap because that was a lot of information. Okay, but just, okay, voy a intentar en este momento, amigos, de comentarles un poquito acerca de los puntos fuertes que nos están comentando la Universidad de Limerick, ¿no? Bueno, primero nos hablaron un poquito de la ciudad. Digo, ustedes vieron la presentación, realmente no hay mucho que traducir, pero sí quiero recalcar algunos puntos que mi compañera, bueno, ha mencionado, que por ejemplo, que Limerick es una de las, bueno, tiene un costo de vida mucho menor a la capital, que es Dublín. Muchas veces cuando nos mencionan Irlanda como opción de estudio, ha pasado de todo, ¿no? Hay personas que no ubican Irlanda bien en el mapa o no conocen bien exactamente de dónde está Dublín o dónde está Limerick, pero el tema de los costos, una vez que se ponen a revisarlos, esto es súper importante. Si mal no recuerdo, creo que fue 50% menos costoso la vida en Limerick que a comparación de Dublín, que es la capital. Otra cosa que dijo que también es súper importante y es para que lo tomen en cuenta: Irlanda es un país que sirve mucho te ayuda muchísimo a crecer, tanto en lo laboral como en lo personal. Ustedes lo escucharon de ella. Las ciudades, y me consta, son muy amigables, son personas muy abiertas, y sí es cierto, la verdad, un poquito la cultura irlandesa con la cultura mexicana en varios aspectos tienen muchas similitudes. Entonces, Limerick es una ciudad que yo les aseguro que van a encontrar acogedora, que van a encontrar amigos, van a conocer gente, incluso van a ahorrar en comparación de lugares como Dublín, por ejemplo, en temas del costo de vida, ¿sí? Pero, hablando del tema profesional, es muy importante recalcar que en este momento Irlanda es el único país que tiene el inglés como idioma oficial de la Unión Europea. Sabemos que no es de toda Europa. Estamos hablando de la Unión Europea, esta organización de naciones que tienen muchos favores entre ellas. Entonces, en este momento Irlanda es puente para conexión con empresas como Facebook, como Google. Y bueno, la verdad es que las oportunidades son increíbles, ¿no? A todos nuestros amigos que están pensando en emprender una carrera o en hacer una maestría, bien, o simplemente en comenzar un viaje con algo relacionado a los estudios, porque hay mucha gente que también dice, oye, me interesa, yo quiero viajar, quiero conocer el mundo, pero quiero que me devuelva algo, que lo cual es algo que es muy común, que todos pensamos. Entonces, ¿por qué no estudiar una maestría, por ejemplo, en la Universidad de Limerick? También lo mencionó al principio. Una vez, mientras estudias, tienes un permiso de trabajo de medio tiempo, y cuando te gradúas a nivel maestría, tienes un par de años también para poder encontrar trabajo. Y se los digo por experiencia nuevamente, conozco gente que iba ahí por su maestría, se quedó los 2 años después del permiso que te da, bien, y las empresas le siguen renovando y siguen renovando los contratos y los visados. Entonces, bueno, la verdad, si alguien busca un camino o algo similar a esto, Universidad de Limerick puede ser una excelente opción. Now, coming back to you, Neve.
Fabulous. Thank you so much for recapping that. And my apologies, I should stop sooner to allow you to translate.
Don't worry.
So just following on from all of that, you may have received the kind of got the theme about employability and how important that is to us to make sure that our students are ready for the workplace. So for us, making sure that our students have the skills and the knowledge to be able to get jobs is really important. So we work with over 2,000 different companies every year to place students in work placement at undergraduate level. And then for master's students, we have special workshops and we have career fairs and different opportunities for them to meet employers as well. If you want to translate that, please do.
Totally. Yeah, because this is also a super important point.
Yeah.
Ahora, la empleabilidad, muchachos, la empleabilidad es algo que nosotros buscamos, es algo que no me van a dejar mentir. Nosotros nos gustaría tener todo bajo control. Y una de las preguntas más frecuentes que nos hacen, al menos en lo personal, es, oye, ¿y dónde voy a trabajar? Y sinceramente ni yo, ni absolutamente, ni la escuela, ni nadie les podemos asegurar que, mira, vas a encontrar trabajo en cierta empresa. Eso es muy difícil. Lo que sí podemos hacer es, por ejemplo, todas las escuelas con las que Enjoy Languages, con las cuales tenemos un convenio, tienen un gran porcentaje de empleabilidad del graduado. ¿Qué quiere decir esto? Que una vez que termines tus estudios, tienes arriba del 90% posibilidad de conseguir una oferta laboral acorde con tus estudios. Con esto, y por ahí, porque algunos pueden llegar a pensar de que, bueno, sí consigo trabajo, pero a lo mejor no de lo que estudié. No, es arriba del 90% de empleabilidad del graduado es correspondiente a lo que se estudió. Obviamente, si tienes alguna maestría en business, tu trabajo debe ser acorde al business. Bien, entonces, eso es increíble. La cantidad de compañías con las que trabajan, que ustedes lo escucharon, trabajan con algunas compañías que les pueden ayudar a ubicarse en empresas. Y además la universidad también tiene convenios que nos ayudan, y lo pueden ver aquí, 2100, placements, se me fue la palabra en español, perdón, pero te pueden colocar a 2100 trabajadores por año. Bien, entonces eso es una excelente opción. ¿Y qué más quieres? Digo, no es un 100% seguro que encuentres, porque obviamente de estas personas que se gradúan, hay muchos que regresan a su país, lo cual también está bien, pero si decides quedarte, tus posibilidades son casi el 100% de poder conseguir trabajo, dependiendo acorde a lo que estudias. And I'm back to you, Neve.
Brilliant, perfect timing. Just in time to change the slide over. So graduate employers at the university, we work really, really closely with them. So as mentioned, we have a huge history of industrial hub. So what that means is that companies will come and invest in Limerick. You have Johnson & Johnson and some massive big employers there that would have huge multinational companies based in Limerick City. And I'm just going to pull up the next slide, which gives you an idea of all the different companies that are based here in Ireland and in Limerick.
Wow.
A large number of these are actually based in the Limerick region alone, and some of them then following up towards the Dublin region, but majority of them would be Limerick-based companies.
Wow,
Yeah.
those are a lot of companies. I mean, we can see some familiar faces here in Mexico. There's Apple, of course, Amazon, PayPal, for example, just to mention some of the options that you can find in Ireland.
Jaguar, Land Rover, analog devices, some other big ones, Dell, Intel, Pfizer, which is big at the moment with the vaccines, along with Johnson & Johnson.
Huge, yeah.
So there's loads of different options there. And for students coming from all different backgrounds, whether it's from engineering to IT to science to business to arts, journalism, they all have different sections within their companies that they take our graduates from all those different areas. If you're coming from the arts, it might be going into communications or into, certain elements of those companies in that end of the administration. You could be a scientist working in laboratories. You could be in IT, hoping to go into, either technical, IT development. You could be an engineer, a medical device engineer. You could be going into general construction engineering. So there is something for everybody. And as you can see, these big multinational companies are based here in Ireland and they're not going anywhere, which is fantastic.
Yeah, that's totally great information. And now you let me explain just a little bit.
Yeah.
That is watching us. Bueno, amigos, retomando un poco lo que mencionó, esa imagen que nos mostró de un montón de compañías en las que nosotros podemos aspirar a trabajar, es verdad, y la verdad es que no, ahí lo tienen, hay empresas que son conocidas a nivel mundial, no solamente las más, lo que es Apple, Amazon, como comentaba, tienen por ahí también Cisco, tienen Deloitte, tienen, la verdad es que no importa si eres ingeniero, arquitecto, contador, no importa la disciplina, sí hay un lugar para ti. Y algo, bueno, es muy común que una vez terminando tu maestría, mientras estás estudiando, tú podrás tener algún trabajo regular, por ejemplo, como puedes trabajar en una cafetería, por ejemplo, y puedes dejar tus currículos, puede ser un proceso, y yo conocí a una persona que de estar como mesero en una cafetería, vamos a ponerle un nombre, tipo VIPs, que acude mucha gente mayor, en el centro de Dublín. Después, al siguiente día, fue contratado por una de esas empresas y estaba trabajando en su área de IT, con un sueldo que ni les cuento, ¿no? Altísimo. Now, I was just, remember I experienced that I used to have a friend back in Ireland. Now, he was working as a waiter in this little coffee shop. Now, he finished his master's degree. Of course, he needs to keep working to get some money for food and everything. But he started going to interviews with some companies, and from one day to another, he received a very good position in this company. He was in the IT department, I believe. So it was pretty common. I have another friend that she's an accountant, and she was working in Subway. Also, he was going to interviews, and from one day to another, she was hired in a huge accountant company, and it's pretty. I mean, it's pretty common to jump from one job, like from the service industry, to now to become a scientist in Pfizer, for example. Of course, when you finish your master.
Absolutely, 100%. And a lot of students will do those service type jobs while studying to be able to bring in a bit of money. And you can do that while you're in Ireland. You can study and work part-time while here. And then when you graduate, you get the opportunity to stay back on a full-time stay back visa, which is really, really, really good. And students have to be paid minimum wage, which is €10.20 an hour. which I think, correct me if I'm wrong, is about 200 pesos an hour, roughly, depending on the conversion.
Sure. Yeah, roughly. I mean, right now the euro is like 25, 26 pesos, actually, I think. So it's like 260 pesos. We are talking about minimum wage.
Minimum wage
like
per hour.
working in per hour, like working as a dishwasher or McDonald's or a little coffee shop.
No matter where you work, that's what you have to be paid.
Yeah, totally. Now, before we continue, we have a little one question here.
Yes.
Is that okay for you? I'm just gonna check it.
Absolutely.
She said, Estrella. She had write a question. She has a degree on law. So, what kind of postgraduate studies be can she get into in the University of Limerick? I mean, I understand that on the derecho is what we call it here in Mexico, but on the law is kind of difficult, right? Because the law is different in every country.
Well, it depends on the type of law you want to get into. So a lot of students will do a law undergraduate degree and then will specialize at master's level. So like there's international commercial law, there's general masters of law, and then we also have human resource or human rights law. So there's a couple of different options that you can do there. The laws that differ between countries are generally land law and constitutional law, and then the third one would be criminal law, depending on the jurisdiction you're in. But the idea of a bachelor's degree and a master's degree in law is to allow you to get the skills and the knowledge that you need to be able to translate, understand, and represent your clients in the regions you eventually end up in. So it gives you the skill set to understand the law, no matter where it is, because you'll be able to read it, interpret it, apply it to the case that you're working on, or apply it to the regions that you're in to be able to best represent your client. And it also gives you a foundation and a knowledge to be able to go to do your law exams. So no matter where you do law in the world, you have to sit official professional examinations. Okay. In some scenarios, some of the professional bodies will ask you to do some type of localized studies at some point, but they will accept international degrees, but they may expect you to do certain modules or certain subjects on top of what you've already studied in order to qualify to take the professional examinations. So, for example, at the University of Limerick, our law degrees are accepted in Canada, the US, in New York, England, Wales, Scotland, India, and a couple of the other Commonwealth countries as well. Okay, so what that means by them being accepted is that the law societies or the legal system in those countries that give the power to be a solicitor, or you become a lawyer through that body, that professional body, they accept the university curriculum to allow you to sit their examinations. But in all of those countries, you will still have to do an extra little bit of study yourself around land law, criminal law, and constitutional law, because they all differ, because they're different jurisdictions. But the degrees and the masters give you the skills to be able to do that.
Okay, that's perfect. And someone from Mexico, for example, with a law degree can apply for a master's, okay.
They can indeed, yeah. And we actually had a student apply and is accepted for this coming September into our international law degree.
Wow, that's
or
perfect.
masters, I should say, masters, yeah.
Okay, that's great. Bueno, Estrella, espero que con esto haya quedado resuelta tu duda. Si así es, sí puedes aplicar. Hay diversas opciones. Puedes mandarnos un mensaje directo a los WhatsApps que se encuentran en la descripción y así te contactaremos con tu asesor Enjoy, el más cercano a tu ciudad. Bien. Thank you so much for that information. Now I'm back to you.
Perfect. And actually that leads very nicely into this next part of the presentation, where I talk about the different options that students have for studying with us. So in Ireland, we work off a level scale. So level 5 is a foundation year. And this would be for students that are coming from Mexican high school into the University of Limerick. They have to do a foundation before they can go into their bachelor's degree. Okay, so we do offer the International Foundation Program, and the 3 streams that we have is business, science, engineering, arts, humanities, and social sciences. So this would be something that anybody coming from high school would do before they start their bachelor's degree. And then the next option is what we call a level 6, level 7, level 8, which is your undergraduate degree, which is your bachelor's degree. And applications are now opened. They're 4 years in duration. We have a 4-month work placement embedded in all of our undergraduate degrees, and also in a large number of the undergraduate degrees as well. Students get the opportunity to go on an Erasmus, which is an exchange placement abroad within our European partners, to one of our European partners, and we'll give you funding towards that, okay? And then you'll also have great links with industry and with your professors, and we do have scholarships available in all the faculties. Now, if you want to translate that before I talk about the master stuff, please do.
All right, perfect, thank you. Ahora, chicos, les presentamos que, bueno, que la opción, University of Limerick cuenta con opción de Undergraduate Programs, que básicamente son las licenciaturas e ingeniería. Y eso es como nosotros lo conocemos. Bien, pueden ver algunos puntos importantes ahí, que duran 4 años. Es bien importante que recuerden que con estos estudios ustedes pueden trabajar medio tiempo, y créanme que medio tiempo son aproximadamente 20 horas a la semana, y con eso es suficiente, incluso ganando el mínimo, para que ustedes puedan mantenerse su día a día, su renta, comida, transporte, todo, ¿no? Entonces, ellos tienen una gran cantidad de opciones, como les comento, duran 4 años, y también les ayudan con, con su trabajo, con ayuda de búsqueda de trabajo. Bien, ahora nos van a comentar un poquito acerca de los programas de posgrado.
Perfect. So we on to back over to me.
Yeah, sorry.
Wonderful.
Sorry.
Wonderful. So the next one up then is your postgraduate or your master's degree. So depending on the degree, majority of our master's degree are 1 year in duration. So it means you're done and dusted within 12 months with your master's degree. In some scenarios, they may be 2 years in duration. Generally, our health science programs would be 2 years, just because the accreditations require that. Some of them will have international field trips, and then from there you can go on to do PhD options as well. And we do have scholarships available in all the different faculties also. Perfect. Will I keep going? Or do you want to translate about the postgrad and then I'll do entry requirements?
Well, no. That was great. I just want to mention a quick thing. If you can go back to the last slide, yeah. Please. Okay, thank you so much. Ahora, esta parte también es muy importante. Digo, no voy a repetir tanto algo más de lo que ella ya nos haya mencionado, pero sí quiero hacer un poco de hincapié en esta parte de los scholarships. Uno de los, cuando uno se encuentra en algún país de Latinoamérica, entiéndase México, Colombia, cualquiera, tenemos que esforzar un poco más por la cuestión del idioma, ¿sí? Pero la cuestión de los costos también puede representar algún obstáculo para algunos estudiantes. Quiero que sepan que nosotros, tanto como Enjoy Languages como las universidades lo entendemos, nosotros contamos con opciones de financiamiento, y les hablaré de eso un poco más adelante, pero aquí la Universidad de Limerick nos está mencionando que cuenta con scholarships, becas, para cuando estudian una maestría, es decir, algo después de tu licenciatura, ahí lo pueden leer, ¿no? Ciencias e ingeniería de 2,000 a 4,000 euros de descuento, de descuento sobre su colegiatura. Tenemos en el área de artes, de leyes, tenemos ahí también el área de negocios, educación. La verdad es que las opciones son muchísimas, y de esta manera la Universidad de Limerick también se vuelve una opción mucho más atractiva. Bien, now thank you so much for that information. Now we are back to you once again.
Perfect. Okay, so we're going to fly through these last couple of slides and then open the floor up to any questions that you may have. So for students that are coming to undergraduate degrees, the way you can apply is either by direct entry or the foundation year. So if you're completing a Mexican, Brazilian, Colombian high school, those type of high school qualifications, you will need to do a foundation. If you're doing A-levels, high school diploma, SATs or ACTs or IB, then you could look at applying directly to us. But don't worry about remembering any of this. Myself and the team will be able to help you with all of this, okay? So that's just for undergraduate degrees. For postgraduate degrees, then we're looking for an honours bachelor's degrees from a recognised university with good grades, and it'll vary depending on the country. And we look for an IELTS 6.5. And as I mentioned, all of the entry requirements for the individual countries are up on our website. And then I'm just going to, do you want to, will I keep going into about visas and stuff?
Sure. I mean, we're gonna talk a little bit about the visa requirements now, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, we can go on, and then I'm gonna explain the requirement from the school and the visas. Don't worry.
Perfect. Okay, so for students coming from EU countries, you will not need a visa to get into Ireland. Now, some of you may have EU citizenship, so that will be different. Okay, if you've got EU citizenship and never been here in Ireland before or in Europe, then you will have to apply for a student visa. So for majority of students coming from South America, you will not require a visa before getting to Ireland, but you will need a visa when you arrive. So you'll need to register with our immigration services, but don't panic. We will arrange all of this for you, okay? And you can check out, I can send this PowerPoint over afterwards and it can be sent out if needed, but they're all up on our website and you'll be able to check them out from there as to whether you need a visa or not, or if you're unsure, just please reach out to us. And then just the university campus, just a couple of quick pictures. I have to admit, it is one of I love the campus. It's one of my favorite things about the whole university. I was down there today, just walking around, getting a bit of fresh air. I would highly recommend checking out some of our videos on our YouTube channel. We also have some testimonials from a couple of our South American students, including Moses from Mexico, who's actually just got a job with a marketing company in Dublin after graduating there at Christmas. So please do. And there is our contact information. And I'll just end that and stop sharing so I can open up the screen for everyone to see. So if you want to please translate, and then we can chat a little bit more. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much for that information. Just give me a couple of minutes so I can explain everything to the people that is watching. Ahora, muchas gracias por las preguntas que nos están dejando, amigos. Y bueno, básicamente lo que nos comentaba eran los requisitos para entrar a la escuela y requisitos para entrar al país. Recuerda que siempre, bueno, la gran mayoría de las veces vamos a tener que cubrir estos dos tipos de requisitos. Son requisitos escolares y requisitos de gobierno, tales como visado, etcétera, ¿no? Requisitos de la escuela. Bueno, nos comenta que si venimos de lo que es una preparatoria o un high school, un bachillerato en Latinoamérica, y queremos pasar a una licenciatura, ingeniería, sí lo podemos hacer. Muy seguramente vamos a requerir lo que es un año de foundation, lo que es un año para poder emparejar los estudios a el nivel que en este caso que manejan en Irlanda. Cuando queremos pasar de una licenciatura a una maestría, nos van a pedir las calificaciones y obviamente también hay un proceso para seguir que nosotros aquí en Enjoy Languages les podemos ayudar con todo gusto. Ahora, eso es en cuanto a la escuela. Digo, y no olvidemos el examen de inglés. Bien, que se requiere un IELTS 6.5. Se encuentra bien, casi avanzado. Y este año creo que también están aceptando los Duolingo, que por ahí vi. Niv, this year you are accepting Duolingo as well?
Yes, we are indeed. Yeah, we are accepting Duolingo due to test centers being closed and everything like that. And I can imagine that will continue for the following year also.
Well, that's great. How many points do you need in order to?
110.
100. That's great. Para aquellos, thank you so much. Now, para aquellas personas que conocen o que apenas están investigando un poquito sobre el tema, para entrar a una universidad donde los cursos se llevan en este caso en inglés, es necesario presentar un examen con una calificación satisfactoria. Un examen oficial puede ser un Cambridge, los más comunes son TOEFL y lo que es el IELTS. En calificación lo que piden un TOEFL son, por ejemplo, 550 puntos, IELTS 6.5, pero debido a la pandemia, esta es una de las cosas buenas que ha dejado también la opción de tomar Duolingo. Duolingo es un examen que se toma desde la comodidad de tu casa, tiene por ahí algunas reglas y es mucho más económico que un IELTS, un TOEFL, y también me han platicado que es mucho más amable, ¿no? Es una opción excelente para poder, presentar ese requisito que nos pide la escuela, que es el inglés, y bueno, eso es en cuanto a lo que es la escuela. Ahora, aparte, tenemos los requisitos de gobierno. Nosotros como mexicanos, incluyó a muchos países también de Latinoamérica, no requieren una visa para poder llegar, ¿bien? Pero sí requeremos una visa para poder continuar con los estudios, ¿bien? Es decir, nosotros con el pasaporte, como muchos países, tenemos cierto número de días que nos permite el gobierno. Ahora, pero para poder trabajar y para poder, ahora sí que extender nuestra estancia en el país, se requiere una visa especial. Aquí nosotros en Enjoy Languages y la escuela también les puede ayudar. La escuela también nos va a poder ayudar para lo que es todo este proceso de visado. Sí, por favor, recuerden en la descripción del evento están los números de WhatsApp y bueno, básicamente ahí con ellos, ellos les estarán asignando a su asesor Enjoy más cercano. Now, Niv, once again, thank you so much for the information. Just a quick question about the expenses and the fees, international fees for the student. Just if you can tell us a little bit about that, please.
Absolutely. My apologies. I completely forgot to mention it during the presentation. So for students coming to study at the University of Limerick, on average, tuition fees can range anywhere from 12,000 to about 17,500 euros. One or two of our other programs will be a little bit higher. So some of our health science programs might be about 25, and our medicine program is 43, and it's a graduate entry only. But if you were to take your tuition fees, living on campus, flights, health insurance, clothes, books, everything into one package. Generally, what I say to students, if they budget anywhere from 30 to 35,000 for the whole year, that's absolutely everything they can possibly think of covered for them. And that's without working. That's just, and not all of that money is due up front either.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for that information as well. I mean, it's good to have an idea how much we're gonna need in order to apply for the University of Limerick. Okay, and that's without scholarship, right?
That's without scholarships. That's without working part-time. That's without getting assistance from 𝗓𝘗𝘃 or any of the different funding agencies around Latin America. But that is very much the higher end estimate. To be honest, I've seen students go from 25 to 35, depending on what they're studying and when they buy flights, how if they get part-time jobs, all of that. And bear in mind that that's food, that's everything you can possibly think of that you're going to need while here in Ireland.
Yes, well, totally. I mean, that's the scholarships and everything. That's going to be a huge help. And I mean, yeah, I will explain a little bit more about our experience in Ireland in Spanish in a little bit. But I think by now do you have any last words that you would like to tell us about school or anything that we forgot? Maybe I don't know.
I don't know if we've forgotten anything, but I do want to thank everybody for joining me today. It's always a wonderful opportunity to work with Enjoy Languages, and I would highly recommend if anybody has any questions at all, please reach out to the team. They're wonderful. I'm super thrilled to be able to talk about Ireland, Limerick, and the university, and I'm here to help you with any questions that you may have as follow-up after this with the team, obviously, in Enjoy Languages.
Okay, thank you so much for your help, Niv. Thank you once again for joining us, and thank you for all the information.
Thanks great. A million. Bye, everybody. Have a wonderful day.
Thanks a million.
Bye.
Goodbye.